Hello, everybody. I'm Don
Thompson.
Collins, and this is another episode of Can't Be Stopped in an Ion Sports production. So, Lou, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good, Don. How you doing?
You know, I'm always great. That's always great. So, it's a very special episode today. This is our first time with an hour-long episode.
Our new format.
The new format. I know for a lot of people, they probably, man, what happened to the old format? What was wrong with that? Well, we can get a little wordy, and I never want to feel like we don't have enough time for our arguments. So I definitely feel like an hour is best suited for this style of show.
Definitely. I think when we felt limited time-wise, sometimes we held back ideas, things we wanted to say to each other to fit a certain timeline that we had in mind per episode. But I think now that we're going to go to this hour format and the way that we're going to be breaking down our topics, I think we won't have that issue anymore.
Definitely not. But I want to shout out all the fans because, talking for an hour is a long time. But it wouldn't be possible without the people that pay attention and the people that listen to us because we do it for them. And just getting our voices out there more, encouraging people to listen, it's what it's all about.
Absolutely. And this is just the beginning of a whole lot more, I don't want to say new, but exciting content that we have coming to you guys soon. This is just the start of us really getting the ball rolling again. Now we've gotten to the balance of school and how we want to approach things. A lot of things are coming your way. Just be ready.
For sure. Now, with that, one of the other things that is coming the way of the fans is a standardized time for releases of Can't Be Stopped. I know sometimes with the different times, obviously, we got the hour time slot down, but the varying times of the day that I would release, the episodes, that's going to be standardized now. So look for it at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and, 10 to 11. Once again, that can be followed on the podcast, also on YouTube, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right. So we got the YouTube channel. We got the SoundCloud. You can check for that. If it's not there, it'll always be on YouTube permanently. And, of course, on iTunes through podcasts.
For sure. But now we can get into the nitty-gritty. We got a lot of interesting topics on deck today. First things first. The NBA is coming back here soon, Lou. Did you know that?
Man, yes. The best season.
Oh, yeah. The National Basketball Association. Now, I know for the NFL, we did our NFL preseason awards, and I figured that was a good format, Might as well just keep it up with the NBA. Why don't we go ahead? Look, first off, I want to recollect on last season. Last season was absolutely amazing. You had the Golden State Warriors on their redemption tour after dropping the NBA Finals to the Cleveland Cavaliers. You had Russell Westbrook with his phenomenal regular season, James Harden and him battling. It was just amazing. And I think this year, this year they're going to top it. All the movement that has been going on in the association, all the storylines, everything is just absolutely, it's about to go crazy. Like, the NBA is about to go crazy this year, period.
Yeah, I think we're really in for a treat. There's a lot of talk about just the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, but I think if we really look at everything that happened in the offseason, we got all the new rookies, especially the Lonzo Ball excitement. I think a team that's really been forgotten about, the Minnesota Timberwolves, adding Jimmy Butler.
No longer the Timber Pups. They got some veteran talent here.
They are the real deal. I think a lot of players last year made their mark on the league. Like Jimmy Butler, for instance, but especially Giannis. So I'm really excited for a lot of different storylines in the NBA, not just the two powerhouses, but everyone that falls in between. I think this NBA season is going to be one that's really worth remembering.
Okay, yeah. Hey, while we're talking about players around the league, I want to make sure that we mention the Portland Trail Blazers.
Yes.
Dame is legit. Dame Dollar Dash. Shout out Damian Lillard.
Shout out to Dame for real,
sure.
Though.
I've been
with
bumping
the
his
album too.
Right, I've been bumping his album all week. You know, him and A Boogie with the hoodie, but he don't hoop. So definitely shout out Dame. You know, Derrick Rose and the boys in Cleveland. You know, obviously they the favorites to get back, but Kyrie in Boston making noise. You see, he had 10 assists, no turnovers, right?
Nah, I saw it preseason.
Preseason, yes, but he was looking good on the court. You know, looking real good on the court. So
he looks solid. He looks solid
for sure. But you know, without further ado, let's get into it. Our awards. We're gonna start off with MVP. Lou,
okay.
You know,
Okay.
I'm feeling real courteous today. I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay, my MVP. Man. So I was thinking about this for a little bit. And I had 3 names who came to mind. All in the Eastern Conference, actually. The weaker, quote-unquote, conference of the two. The third person who I thought about, I guess my runner-ups, let me say. The third person I thought about was actually John Wall.
Who?
So I thought about John Wall for MVP because John Wall has been pretty consistent as an NBA player, but I don't think he's gotten the attention he necessarily deserves. I think we saw a lot, though, in the playoffs last year, almost averaging a double-double in points and assists. If I'm correct, over 20 points and like 9.6 assists per game. And I think with Otto Porter getting better, him and Bradley Beal finally getting chemistry because they can stay on the court together. In a weak Eastern Conference, I think the Washington Wizards can really sneak up and get like a top 4 seed in the East, and that'll get the attention that they really need. With John Wall playing probably near his peak in the next couple seasons. But he's not my MVP. The second person who I had in mind for MVP was Giannis.
Antetokounmpo.
Yes, I like Giannis a lot. Being in school in Wisconsin, I see a lot of Giannis hype. But I'm a believer, man. This dude can do everything. But once he get his jump shot down, it's a wrap for the league. He's deadly. He can do it all. He had the vision. He had the dribbling ability. He had the length. He can guard every position on the court. He's just a special player. He's on the come up. He's still in his young 20s. He can be really dangerous. But my MVP, without further ado, has to be the king, LeBron James.
That, you know what? I saw that coming from you.
You
if
know,
we're being honest.
Look, it's been a couple years since LeBron won the MVP, okay? We've had Russ, averaged a triple-double. Curry got back-to-back MVPs before that. And, you know, with the way that the Cavaliers are structured this year, the way that the team is going to have to not rely so much on LeBron, it's going to let LeBron be able to shine even more when he does play. I see LeBron having one of those seasons where he just leaves his mark on the regular season. There's been a lot of talk about how he doesn't really care about the regular season, about he's just ready for the playoffs. But I think this year LeBron is going to win that final MVP of his career and kind of to put that whole discussion away, whether he's a regular season player or not. So I got LeBron James for my MVP.
Okay, that's respect. Nothing wrong with picking King James to win the MVP. But I think you're forgetting about the other James Harden.
Okay.
Now, I know last year he was my pick to win MVP. I just really thought the way he played last year, the team success, all of that was enough to win MVP. But I know Russell Westbrook absolutely balled out towards, the whole season, averaging a triple-double. But I think this is the year James goes and captures the award. Because you got Chris Paul. Now, you could say, well, he's got to share the ball with Chris Paul. I think that means he can go back to being that lethal assassin James Harden that's going to average close. He was already almost at 30 points. I think he got a chance to average 32, 33 points per game. Their defense hasn't really lost too much. I think he can only improve as a defender if he gives a little bit more effort, which he was not the worst in the NBA last year. The jokes, they got to stop. He graded out as a solid defender. But with Chris
Right.
Paul taking over more of the point guard duties, I think he can really just become that focal point on offense for real again in terms of scoring the basketball. I think he'll still average a healthy amount of assists. He'll still get, 6, 7, 8 possibly rebounds per game. And I think they're just going to win more. I think if you add Chris Paul and the depth that they still maintain because they didn't make the trade for Carmelo, they really can actually go out and push to possibly be the second seed in the Western Conference. And if Golden State is going to win 65, 66, 67 games, it's not out of the realm of possibility. If they get hot, the Rockets can also win upper 50s, lower 60s. And at that point, how can you not consider him for MVP? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think his numbers are going to be up. The team's success is going to be up. Why not? Why not
I
him?
must say, it would be rightly so that he get the MVP. And if he has another MVP caliber year and it just taken away from him again, like it had been the past 2 times, I'd feel kind of bad for him, to be honest.
But, if the Cavaliers run up an enormous amount of wins because they don't play anybody in the Eastern Conference, I can see your pick being absolutely correct too, though. Because LeBron is still the best player on the planet, regardless of what records and finals or any of that. Still the best player on the planet until further notice.
For sure.
So now that we're done with MVP, we're going to move towards the Rookie of the Year. Now, again, we do these things kind of blind. I don't really know who you pick, but I think for me, this choice is really easy. It's pretty simple. I think,
for sure.
with players like Ben Simmons, who hasn't made his debut in the regular season yet, De'Aaron Fox, Markelle Fultz, I think there's a good crop of NBA rookies. But this one, to me, just comes down to the no-brainer. It's Zotan, the Zotan Lakers, Lonzo Ball. I really think that the Lakers are kind of underrated going into the season. I know there's a lot of hype surrounding them, but I'm talking about basketball. I think Brandon Ingram is going to make a substantial leap forward in his second season. Jordan Clarkson is still going to be really, really good. Julius Randle, you look at him as a young power forward that can really play the game. Zubac is nice. And who is bringing it all together? I really believe the person that's going to bring it all together is going to be Lonzo Ball. That's what they brought him in for. That's his gift. That's his talent. And at the end of the day, when a team succeeds, they're going to look towards the leader. When the Cavaliers play good, LeBron gets a lot of the credit. When Golden State plays good, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry get a lot of the credit. So I truly believe that the Lakers are going to overperform. They might end up making the playoffs. I'm a firm believer that wherever Lonzo goes, winning tends to follow. If they make the playoffs, it's no-brainer. No-brainer. You look at the other situations. Ben and Markelle have to compete with each other. So that's going to weigh unless one of them completely blows the other out of the water. But if one is doing good, that's giving help or less attention on the other. So it's they're helping each other out. De'Aaron Fox is going to play on what's looking like a bad team. Dennis Smith can make some noise, but again, he has to. Dirk, they got to transition Dirk out. They still got Harrison, and where is he at in the pecking order? Where Lonzo Ball, if he doesn't average 20 points per game, or 15, because he's a rookie. You know how rookies come in, lower expectations.
Right.
If he still puts up 7 assists and they're winning, it's almost all going to be because of him. Like, the way he plays the game, setting people up, helping them be great, is going to help him look even better. So that's why I think the media is going to be behind it, because either you love the kid or you hate the kid, or you love the family, hate the family. So if he's doing good, the hate, the love, it's all going to come together in the hype train. So I think he's got the necessary media following, but also I think his play is going to warrant it.
Okay.
So that's my pick.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you and everything. But you know who I'm riding with. You know who the Rookie of the Year gonna be.
Oh yeah.
It definitely gonna be Mr. Ben Simmons. I'm a huge fan of Ben Simmons personally. Since he was in high school, I've been watching this kid. And I think Ben Simmons is just gonna show off all his talents this year. I think the cast that he has around him is perfect. He has a superstar for a center when healthy.
Shout out Kansas. Go Joel Embiid. Had to put that in there.
Yeah. He has a good young point guard in Markel. Guard. Let me not say point guard because Ben gonna be running point guard. And I think that with Philly, I definitely think Philly gonna make the playoffs. With the weakened Eastern Conference, and I just believe that the way that things are gonna align, Ben Simmons are gonna have one of those years where it's like, wow. Maybe like 15 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds. Like numbers like that, I think is what he's going to do this year, and the whole NBA is going to be on notice. But I like Lonzo a lot, but my thing about Lonzo is that I see the Western Conference being similar to how it was in 2010 when the Lakers won the championship. When they won the championship, the 8th seed was Oklahoma City with KD, Russ, and James Harden, and they had 50 wins. I don't think the Lakers are going to be good enough to get 50 wins. So with as tight...
According to LeVar, they can get there, but, another story, another day.
Look, I rock with LeVar, but, sometimes even LeVar got to be wrong. But as tight as that is, I don't see the Lakers getting to that, but I do see the 76ers being able to squeak into the bottom half of the Eastern Conference playoffs. So that's why I got to roll with Ben.
I mean, I know how much you love Ben Simmons, so, that's expected. It's also a little unfortunate for the other rookies that he missed all of last year because he's good enough to actually run away with it. But, again, I'm going with Lonzo, period. Yeah. That's how it is.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's go into the sixth man. For me, I'm going to make it short and sweet. My sixth man is going to be Jordan Clarkson. From that Laker team, actually.
Oh, you sipping the Lonzo Kool-Aid enough to give Jordan Clarkson six, man?
Look, I like Lonzo a lot, like I said.
Who's going to be helping him get the Sixth Man of the Year award?
Look, when Lonzo's on the court, everyone gets better around him.
Of course.
I think that'll stay true in the NBA like it had in high school and in college before. And I think the way that the Lakers are set up, Jordan Clarkson is going to be able to really succeed, especially if it's going to be him and Kyle Kuzma coming off the bench together. I know it's just the preseason.
Hey, Kyle Kuzma hadn't been much, hoop.
But Kyle Kuzma is a steal.
He can hoop, bro.
He can really play. So I got to go with Jordan Clarkson. I don't really got more to say about that.
Okay. All right. I feel it. Well, for my sixth man, it's another slam dunk, no-brainer. It's J.R. Smith. You look at it, they signed Dwayne Wade, and it bumps Swish, as he's lovingly called. It bumps Swish to the bench. And, this is the role he's had the most success with. You look at it when he was on that Knicks team that won 50-some games, and he won Sixth Man of the Year, averaging 18 points. He came off the bench for obvious reasons. And I feel like putting him in a role that he can just come in and be more of a dynamic scorer, playmaker, and give him just a real comforting role. I just feel like with that, and plus, he's going to come in games where they probably are blowing teams out. Or, D-Wade needs some rest every now and then. I hope he doesn't overqualify for Sixth Man of the Year with D-Wade. Pray for his health. But I really do think Swish has a chance to go ahead and reclaim Sixth Man.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely see JR having a great year this year. I know he's a little upset about his position right now, but I think in the long term, it's going to be the best for the Cavs.
Oh, for sure.
Cool. And then last but not least, Coach of the Year.
Oh, that's an easy one, Lou. Coach of the Year? What?
Yep. Who you got?
Who should be Coach of the Year over Steve Kerr? Seriously. This man has won Coach of the Year without actually coaching a whole year. So, if he is fully healthy this year, why won't he win it? Golden State's the best team, the defending champs. They're going to run through the conference after everybody stacked up to stop them. When they run through said conference, it's a no-brainer. There's not going to be a a participation Mike D'Antoni, like you just came in, you played really good for second in the conference. But there's none of that this year. We know what they're capable of. He's not going to surprise anybody this year. Pop is always going to be a name that you bring up. You know, I don't seriously think Tyronn Lue is going to get it. Maybe Brad Stevens gets some votes. But at the end of the day, it should go to the coach who does the best job with his team. And that is going to be Steve Kerr. Historically dominant, another Coach of the Year award.
You have overlooked one very important coach in the NBA.
Overlooked somebody, huh? You telling me
overlooked
who I overlooked?
You've overlooked the former coach of the Chicago Bulls, Mr. Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau will win Coach of the Year. Okay? Because
if Tibbs win Coach of the Year, all right, I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
The Timberwolves went 29-53 last year.
That was their record. They won 29 games.
They won 29 games. They're gonna double that. I'm fairly confident about that. They may flip that whole thing around and win 53 this year.
Double that.
I'm very confident in the Timberwolves. They're definitely not gonna win 60 games. Let me come down a little bit. But I think they will get into the high 40s, maybe the 50 win range. Okay. Because I'm just thinking, Jimmy Butler carried a pretty bad Chicago Bulls team last year to an even record of 42-42. Jimmy plus Cat plus Wiggins, that's nasty. That did dirty.
Well, talent isn't their issue. It hasn't been.
Sure. Their issue has been closing. They haven't been able to close the deal. Well, but we know Jimmy can close the deal.
Jimmy helps. Notice I said help. He don't solve the problem, but he does help.
Definitely. But look, I think the addition of Jimmy, I think the addition of Jeff Teague, and I think the addition of Jamal Crawford off the bench is going to boost that roster, along with the young talent that they have. And I think they'll be able to really make a difference enough for Tom Thibodeau to get recognized for the great job he's going to be doing. So I'm rolling with Tom Thibodeau because the NBA is not going to give it to one of the super teams this year.
That's respect, though. I see. But, switching gears here, we're going to talk about the MLB playoffs. I know last night, a thrilling Game 5.
You know what? Just take it away. They go to the Cubs. Don't even bring it in.
No. We gotta bring it in. There's a way we gotta bring this in. So we're gonna look at the matchups and how they got there. We got Yankees versus Astros. How the Yankees got there. They came back and probably, against the Cleveland Indians. They won 3 straight games and beat up on Corey Kluber there to end the series, which I was a little shocked that the Indians couldn't close that out, especially seeing how dominant Kluber has been, was, and will be in the future. Really, definitely was a shock. But
I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared for the Cleveland Indians culture of the locker room.
Oh, I mean, come on, it's Cleveland.
They have choked 2 times in a row.
Look. I can't talk about choke jobs. And after I just watched what the Nationals did, but we're gonna get there in a second.
I know.
Get there in a second.
Cleveland had a 2-0 lead. They had a definitive advantage. They had control over the Yankees. They didn't need to put them away. It took 1 game.
Hey, you could argue that the Yankees should have had that series tied 1-1 and ended it in 4. So,
sure, you could say that, but I would also say that Cleveland had the better pitchers going out. To me, at least, and Corey Kluber, and I like Carlos Carrasco a lot. Just those 2 alone, I think, are better than the Yankees' starting pitcher that they had going. Not that starting pitching had really made the biggest difference in the playoffs.
True, it's been kind of wild with the starting pitcher.
A lot of aces are getting hit pretty hard this year. I don't know what's going on with that, but I just think the Cleveland Indians need to figure something out soon, or this roster, who is good enough to win a World Series, just won't.
Yeah, I mean, hey. But, we got to focus on the Yankees here. They have to face the Houston Astros, who dispatched Boston in 4 games. And this was a Boston team that many picked to go to the World Series going into this year. I know our friend Richard, shout out Richard. You know, Richard,
Yep.
if you listening, you know, what's up, bro? But that's his favorite team, and we had a little friendly, you know, game going on where we said, hey, if they make it to the World Series together, Cubs, Red Sox, you know, we're going to put some money down on it, pay extra attention to it, you know, all of that good stuff. And they got thoroughly dominated.
Yeah.
And I was very shocked at how Chris Sale pitched. You know,
Oh my
7
gosh.
earned runs in his postseason debut. But at the end of the day, the Astros are just that good. I think this is a team that, you know, last year I thought when they lost, there was kind of a disappointing ending. And I think they kind of have, you know, they got a chip on their shoulders. You know, Altuve flat out is the MVP. He's the MVP of the American League. That dude is amazing.
He's killing it right now.
3 home runs in his postseason debut, right? That was his postseason debut?
Yep, I believe so.
And so just phenomenal what they're doing. So we got some fireworks that's going to be going at each other in this series here between Aaron Judge. If he can right the ship and not strike out, I think he has a chance to have a memorable series. Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, one of my favorite players in the MLB, George Springer. Their lineup has some bop to it. And, man, that I'm looking forward to that series. I'm really looking forward to that. It starts tonight. It's about to get going in about an hour here.
I think the most exciting thing about that series really is the potential for just really exciting baseball games. I think there's been a lot of discussion throughout the year, especially in past year, definitely, about how slow baseball is and how it's not really a game for our generation or the other generation because it's not the quick pace of a dunk in basketball or
standing around in football. I digress. Carry on.
Nonetheless, I think this postseason, with all the fireworks, all the home runs, all the exciting endings, I think this postseason has been really one that stood out for baseball. I think that the postseason that the MLB really wanted. It really gained a lot of attention from what I've seen.
I tell you what, I think this series will really exemplify the shift that the MLB is taking because everybody likes the home run ball. It gets people who are diehard fans like myself. I get hyped, super hyped when I see, you know, Rizzo or Bryant hitting a home run. And I know casual fans, a lot of them, you know, that's what they really need. That's what they come to see. And, you know, my buddy Daniel, who isn't the biggest baseball fan, but to see the transition in him just from not knowing anything about baseball in general and to following the Indians when they're on TV and watching them. And why is he doing that? It's because they're exciting. And what's exciting for a casual fan like him? Home runs. The offense. Because for me, I love a pitcher's duel. I wouldn't mind it if a game comes down to a sacrifice bunt to win the game in the bottom of the ninth in a 0-0 ball game. But that's me. I'm a baseball junkie. Like, that's me. But I know casual fans, they need the offensive explosions. And if this series doesn't set some type of record offensively, I don't know exactly what my reaction to be. Because at the end of the day, you're looking at 2 lineups that are absolutely stacked.
Can we just give a quick shout out to DD, who's been crushing the
Gregorius,
baseball?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. The guy who I would have probably picked last to have the performance that he had. Not that he's not a fantastic ball player. It's just, you know, kind of flying under the radar there.
For sure.
But I just think the pitching in the series, you know, the Yankees, Severino kind of struggled. I mean, he pitched a gem towards the end of that series, but to start, he struggled.
In the first game, yeah.
Sonny Gray hasn't really had a long track record in the postseason. Tanaka's a little iffy. Sabathia is still 37 years old. Then you look at the Astros, Keuchel. You know, he's an ace, obviously, especially going against the Yankees. But after him, Verlander, you know, if he can, you know, he's been solid of late, but solid.
Right, not that prime Detroit Tiger Verlander anymore.
Right, and the back end of the Astros rotation is a little rough too. and their bullpens kind of, hold on, I got to say this. We're going to talk about bullpens. The Yankees have the best bullpen left in the playoffs, and it's without a doubt. It's without a doubt. They got Chapman, Dylan Betances, they got David Robertson, they got what's his name, Conley. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Their bullpen is absolutely loaded, and so even if the Astros can't get 6 innings out of Keuchel, they're turning it over to Davinsky and what is his name, Joe Musgrove, and if the Yankees don't get 6 innings out of their starters, they're turning it over to Chad Green, who's probably going to pitch 2 solid innings. Then they're going to turn it over to Betances, Robertson, and Chapman.
Robertson, yep.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, the bullpens have been the things that have dominated the last 2 Octobers. So I think that the Yankees have an advantage in the bullpen. The Astros have an advantage everywhere else. So predictions, I'm going Astros in 7. I think it's going to be a thrilling series that's going to go the distance. Astros in 7.
Oh, man. I was thinking about this earlier today about who I think we're going to win this series. And I think what is best for baseball is what is best for business. And I think that's what's going to come true. And the Yankees will be back in the World Series.
Oh, okay.
And the Yankees are going to win in 6 games.
6
games, yep.
Hey, look, I'm going to tell you this right now. The Cubs are not a small market team by any means.
Nope.
But they have set the blueprint for how to be successful in the MLB, the modern MLB. The Astros were god-awful for a long time, but they were able to acquire some really, really, really good players. And they've done a great job. Not that the Yankees haven't, but I do think the Yankees are kind of overperforming.
I believe the Astros have done the right way. Have gone about this the right way. Get your young players, make them great, build them up, build a great team around them.
The Yankees aren't done, though. The Yankees aren't done.
I agree.
And that's why I'm kind of getting
I did think the Yankees have had their backs against the wall. They felt like this whole postseason. They had to play the wild card game to get in. They were down 2-0 against – a lot of people thought the Indians were the best team in the entire playoffs, and they just beat them. I just think this Yankee team is destined for something. I don't know. I just feel something with them. I feel something.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. But good thing we got opposing views for like the first time. I'm happy. So we'll be paying attention to that series because I got Astros, you got Yankees.
For sure.
But want to take the time out. My bad. I just want to take the time out.
Go ahead.
We talk about the Astros. I want to say shout out Skylar Covington, Sky's the Limit TV. Check him out on YouTube. Check him out, Instagram, Twitter, all that. The Sky's the Limit TV. He's an Astros fan. So it's a similar thing to how, we got that thing with Richard. If the Astros and the Cubs meet, you best believe we paying attention. Maybe even collab on a video. That's all I got to say.
That sounds good. And then to the game going on tomorrow. We got the Cubs and the Dodgers. And I'm just going to let you take it away, Don. Let's say how the Cubs got here.
The Chicago Cubs. What can I say about them? My favorite team in the MLB, my favorite team in sports, the defending World Series champions, struggled a little bit to start this season, but, got into the playoffs as champions do. And, they really had a rough series. I was fortunate enough to be able to go to Game 3 in Wrigley, which, amazing. One of my favorite places on the planet. But they really struggled to hit towards the beginning of the series. And even in this Game 5 that was just played last night, I really feel like they've been sloppy in their defense. Their pitching has been a little off. But they have an it factor. They're the Chicago Cubs, the defending World Series champions. And experience is the greatest teacher on the planet. And at the end of the day, the Cubs find a way to win ball games. So that's how they got there. The Dodgers, they had an easier road. Best record, swept the Diamondbacks, just gotten a chill for the last couple of days. But Now they get to clash. Again, it's the rematch. We had to go through them last year to win the chip. Time to go through them again. So, I just want to say, I have the Cubs in 6. I believe 6 games. Clayton Kershaw, Yu Darvish, they have a track record of not being the best in the postseason. The Cubs have been here, done that. It's time to do it again. Our approach, Chris Bryant was 4 for 20 last series. Chris Bryant's not going to bat that bad. He's not going to bat that bad again. Just simply won't. I truly believe the Cubs are going to win this series in 6. Book it. We're going back to the chip. Back.
So, last year, how many games was it that they went?
What was it? 5 or 6? It didn't go 7.
No, I don't think it went 7. No. It went 6. It went 6.
Okay.
Like I said with the Yankees, I think what is best for baseball is what is best for business. And what baseball really wants, and I think what the fans really want to see, is truly the Cubs versus the Yankees. And I also have the Cubs in 6 games. I really wanted to pick the Dodgers. I really did. I just still don't think the Dodgers are good enough. I know they had a great regular season, but they had a huge slip up. They were just fell off from the team that they were at one point, and then they kind of picked it back up. But I just think the Cubs have something. I don't even know what it is.
It's an it factor.
Right.
There's something about this group. They just find ways. And that's why, regardless of who we up against, we going against Strasburg. He shuts us down in the first game of the series. We find a way to win that. We face him again. He shuts us down again. But then everybody's like, going to Washington, got the momentum. And guess what happens? In probably the ugliest baseball game I have ever witnessed in my life, the Chicago Cubs hang 9. Granted, it wasn't traditional, and they didn't even hit a home run. They didn't hit a home run.
It was a nasty 9 at that.
But finding a way. And that's something for so long Cubs fans didn't get to see. They didn't get to see the breaks falling our way. They didn't get to see the broken bat hits, the bloopers dropping in, all of that type of stuff for us. It was always against us. And something about 100 years of building up that good karma, man. I'm telling you, if it comes down to something fluky like that, we got it. Just the law of averages. It was 100 years. It's go time.
Yeah.
They can't be stopped. You cannot look at that for good marketing. They cannot be stopped.
Let's not just throw that out there now. You know, I like the Cubs. I love the Cubs though. You know,
hey, we trying to go back to back. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But I gotta rock with the Cubs. I just don't think the Dodgers got it. I think they don't want to see the Cubs. I truly don't. But we'll see what happens.
They shouldn't.
Yeah.
All right. But, we got a well-rounded list of topics today. We're moving on to the NFL. First, there was some major injuries this past week in the NFL. I don't know if you saw J.J. Watt. I know that's your pick for comeback player of the year. So,
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Because, JJ's a great guy. What he did for the city of Houston, that was really, really, really respectable. And I'm a fan of J.J. Watt's. And I was kind of, even though that would have made me wrong, I was really pulling for J.J. Watt to have a phenomenal season because he's a likable guy. He's a great football player. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, when it comes to the J.J. Watt situation, I just feel bad for the guy. He can't catch a break season-wise. I mean, there's back-to-back years of injury that have just cost him his season. You can see in his play that he puts everything on the line, and the way that he galvanized that team and lead that defense, lead the city, this year reminded me a lot of the year when Drew Brees was kind of leading that New Orleans Saints team after Hurricane Katrina hit. Not to say that the Houston Texans are going to get to the Super Bowl, because I don't believe that. But the type of energy that was just built around that team this year, that had been built around the team this year so far, just really pushed a lot by J.J. Watt, I think. So I think it's a hard hit for the NFL, for one of the faces of the league. I think it's a hard hit for Houston, of course. And I think, I don't know, I hope next year and just in the future he can have healthy seasons and he can really come back and be that dominating force on the defensive end. But what are your thoughts?
Coming back, J.J. Watt is definitely one of those players that's going to come back. And, I think you might have picked him a year too early, man. Yeah. I really do think he's going to win Comeback Player of the Year next year because he's going to rehab and he's going to be ready. That's the only thing I know about J.J. Watt. He's going to be ready. So, but unfortunately, the NFL is a dangerous, dangerous place. And he wasn't the only big-name player to get hurt. Odell, did you got a chance to see that?
Yeah, we also had Odell Beckham Jr., and it felt like the entire New York Giants wide receiving core go down.
The whole team was hurt. The whole team. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yep.
You can hear me, right?
Yep.
We're going to talk about Roger Lewis. I'm a Bowling Green State student. We got a Bowling Green State, alum in the league. Otto Lewis, the boy is automatic. And I'm looking for him. The Giants, they probably still may end up with no wins on this season. My boy Eric is an Eagles fan. Shout out to 5-1 Eagles, Fly Eagles. But the Giants definitely need some receivers. And I believe Roger Lewis can provide that. Definitely. So shout out Roger. We miss you here because our football team is god-awful. But anyway, Odell breaks his ankle. One of them hits that you just know instantly something's wrong. And I've been watching the NFL for a decent amount of time in my life. I don't think I've seen a grown man cry as hysterically as Odell. And he's sitting here, he's on the cart, he's crying, and it just I feel for the guy because this is somebody who is putting his 100% into football. This is his life, like it is for a lot of other players. But you look at the way he carries himself, you look at the way he talks, the way he is about football. He is a football player. He's a football player. Like, this man is one of the top players in the league, regardless of position.
Yeah.
Period. Regardless of position. He has single-handedly saved Eli Manning's legacy. Without Odell Beckham, Eli Manning would be going down the way of, honestly, he would have been Eli Manning. I think he has made him play like a Super Bowl quarterback when Eli was content with throwing 20-something picks a year. So to see Odell go down, look, it was rough. And to see him, that hysterical crying, that's the outpour of all the emotions, man. And players like Odell is, what we look for in society. People who put their all into something. And, around here, we talk about being great. And Odell is pretty freaking great. And so, one of my favorite players in the league. So I feel for him. I really feel for him. But I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. He going to get back. And, he going to get back to, killing defenses over the top, on the slants, everything. He's a phenomenal player. Phenomenal athlete, phenomenal personality. Get well soon, man.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I gotta go right along with that same line of thought. Just to add on to that, the way that the Giants have just been depleted this year, Odell was their one spark of hope.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense has not been the way that they were last year. Eli is Eli, and the Brandon Marshall experiment hadn't worked out. He's now out for the season. Sterling Shepard is injured. Now you got a whole wide receiving core who is left that was supposed to be the best in the entire league. Now you're just left to Otto. So
well, and Evan Ingram. So at least they got a tight end, first round draft pick. Roger Lewis was undrafted, but the man has talent. I've seen it firsthand. He's got talent. It's just about an opportunity. And unfortunately, his opportunity is going to come with injuries. You never want to see it like that, but this is the nature of the game that they play. And so, like I said, for all the players that get hurt around the league, wishing them all speedy recoveries. But these were some high-profile injuries that I feel like impact, not just the players, not just the fans of the teams, but really the fans of the league. J.J. Watt and Odell Beckham have crossed over. J.J. Watt just because he's J.J. Watt. Like, you see him in commercials. You see what he did in Houston this year, like we touched on. And Odell, he's a celebrity, like, through in and throughout. Like, the man got visited by Drake in the hospital. Like, you know what I'm saying? So These are not just the fans of the teams are hurting right now, not just the players. Really, America is paying attention to these injuries. So, but to all the players, get well soon,
Absolutely. One more topic we want to touch on before we get out of here.
For sure.
Let's talk about
the NFL.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Jerry Jones.
Jerry.
Jerry. So this week, Jerry Jones had comments about his team and about the flag after the NFL had kind of come together for 1 week after the president had called them SOBs.
Yeah. Trump had some choice words for the NFL.
Jerry has come out and now said any player who disrespect the flag during the national anthem will not play. And included all players, including Des Bryant, Zeke, who won't even be playing.
Zeke doesn't have to worry about it. He can kneel. He don't even got to show up. He's suspended
Zeke can do
anyway.
Whatever he wants for the next 6 games. But Dak and Des specifically, among the Cowboy players who were named, who would sit if they quote-unquote disrespected the flag. So Don, what are your thoughts on Mr. Jerry Jones coming out and saying this?
My thoughts on the situation. First off, I want to say, the NFL responded the exact way that you called them to action to do. The protests, I thought, were acceptable, respectable, and appropriate. But my reaction to Mr. Jones's comments is, are you kidding me? Like, you got to be kidding me, right? This man is threatening to sit his players, which they're not breaking any rules, by the way. They're not breaking any rules. He is threatening to sit the players for kneeling during the national anthem, which almost 10 years ago, nobody was even present for the national anthem. Look, I can respect your opinion on the matter if you think they should be standing, which, again, it's a publicity stunt. They got paid for it by the government to come out and stand. But 2, I can even respect it if you want to ignore the fact that they are kneeling and protesting for a cause that is to bring action and, light on a subject of police brutality in America and injustice. But Jerry Jones saying that he's going to sit players down is a joke. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And if Dak Prescott, Des Bryant, and Zeke before the suspension would have kneeled, he wouldn't have done a damn thing, period. And he would have been the biggest hypocrite in the world. And if he would have stuck to his word, he would have been a fool because he's costing his team games that they desperately need to win because, once again, the Eagles are red hot. The Eagles are red hot. And so if Jerry Jones is saying he's going to sit his players, he's lying to you, he's lying to me, he's lying to Roger, he's lying to everybody, or he's being foolish. And he came out and said that he took that stance so that he could be the bad guy and deflect attention away from the players. Jerry, you're getting a little senile. You brought unnecessary attention to your roster, to your team, to your organization. This is one of the most talked about, most discussed franchises around the world, and he brought this distraction. This was a distraction. We talk about Colin Kaepernick not having a job because he was, quote-unquote, a distraction with his protest. How is this any different? We just can't cut Jerry Jones. At the end of the day, I thought what he did, where does it even come from? I can't even say it comes from a good place. Because at the end of the day, this is the same man who hired Greg Hardy. You telling me you going to sit a player for kneeling for the anthem, but you going to employ domestic abusers? Oh, he needs a second chance. He deserves this. He deserves that. He's broken rules, laws, regulations, bylaws, everything that you can think of. and didn't even apologize. But players who kneel to give a voice to the voiceless are expected to be punished? It's a joke. It's a joke. It's the most Dallas Cowboy thing I could have thought of. I couldn't even fathom an owner coming out and saying that. You see Shad Khan, Robert Kraft, all the other owners locking arms and supporting their players and respecting their right to be individuals and protest how they see fit, which is what the military goes and fights and dies for, is our right to be able to do these things. You know, and for Jerry Jones to come out and say, boys, we're going to lock arms and we're going to kneel before the game. But then a week later, if you want to do that on your own, which you have the constitutional right to do, and it's not against the NFL rules, if you do that, I'm going to bench you. Yeah, that's a joke. That's a joke.
Where do I start? Jerry Jones. Well, look, this is the epitome of who Jerry Jones is. I don't know why anyone would expect less of this man. The Cowboys have a bye this week.
They do have a bye.
This is the week where the Cowboys lay low. No one talks about them. No one's gonna be in the media. Everyone get to sit back. You don't even. They gotta watch. They just have to watch football. They just gotta get ready for the 49ers next week, to who I believe they play.
And leave it up to the Cowboys.
And leave it up to the owner of the team
and
to make the noise.
Zeke put them in the headlines too.
The crazy thing is, the whole Zeke thing, which went on today, which now his appeal is, his suspension is back active immediately, so he'll be suspended the next 6 weeks, from my understanding, unless something changes in the next week or so. The Zeke suspension has taken precedent over this now, which is Friday. But from Monday through Thursday, all that's been talked about, the number one thing going around the entire league, around everywhere, have been Jerry Jones' comments. I want every Dallas Cowboy player to understand who you work for now. You work for a man that is only about himself. He only wants himself to win. Just understand that. The Dallas Cowboys are not Jerry Jones. He owns them. So if they win, he wins. Not the players, but if they win, he wins. So if he gets his way, it's like a child when you play a game. You have to play by his rules or no rules at all. So I think Jerry Jones is just showing who he truly is. His true colors in this entire situation. He never really cared. I don't think he cares about what the players are kneeling for. And I think Jerry Jones is just showing the thoughts of all the owners, really. They even had thoughts this week about banning players in the entire league from kneeling and making everyone stand. So all these owners who have been locking arms, who've been taking a knee, who came out against Donald Trump once he said these things about the league, because they don't like being told what to do. The NFL is a reactionary league. They make moves off of the reactions of the public, the same way that they made moves based off the reactions of the public to Ray Rice and Greg
Which is
Hardy.
A negative thing. We talked about this in my sports PR class. Organizations are supposed to be proactive, not reactive. When you're reactive, you don't really care unless there's backlash. And I don't think Jerry Jones would have said, I want to be the bad guy. I wanted to deflect attention away from my team if he didn't get backlash. He said what he said, and I think he meant what he said. Any player that does something that I do not agree with shall be punished.
Hey.
Whether they're breaking rules or not, they should be punished in his eyes.
I would love to see a player like Dez take a knee. Who I think Dez Bryant is the most interesting example for this, because Dez, his agent is through Jay-Z. And Jay-Z had declined the NFL for the Super Bowl because of the Colin Kaepernick stance. of, since he being blackballed, I have no interest in you. So I'm wondering if there any communication between Jay-Z and Des Bryant, who is a star, who if he took a knee and was bent, that would make huge waves. This week, of course, or next week, let me say. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I truly don't. Do these players care about what they were really kneeling about? If they do, then we'll see them take a knee. But I do understand that this is their job, this is their career. Jerry Jones is their boss. Sometimes you have to do what you don't like for your boss. But what these NFL players are doing isn't just about them. It's about impacting all the people who don't have a chance to speak. All the minorities who are being treated and oppressed in this country, in which Colin Kaepernick took the initial knee for. It took the initial seat for, actually. And to me, I just don't understand, because how is kneeling disrespecting the flag or whatever? What is disrespectful about what any NFL player have done so far toward the flag?
Everything Americans do is disrespectful to the flag. You can't wear it. You can't. The flag code is so strict. People don't even know what it is. So at least, I'm all about this. If you're going to come at somebody, come correctly. If you're going to disrespect NFL players, at least come with facts. I know a lot of times, look, I'm not right all the time. Just like I'm not wrong all the time.
Definitely not on this podcast.
I have an opinion, just like I can respect that other people have an opinions. But like I said, at the end of the day, if you're going to come at somebody, come correctly. So all these people that are saying, I don't agree with the NFL players doing this, again, I'm not saying you have to agree. Would you kneel for the anthem? Most people probably would say no, and that's okay. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. But in a sport where there's no rule saying that they can't, they are exercising their right to bring attention to something. And for better or for worse, right or for wrong, they did not break a rule, did not break a law, yet they have brought attention to a subject. But now I think it's getting a little bit away from, what Colin Kaepernick initially started. It's now just about the kneeling.
Correct. I was going to say, I don't even think a lot of the NFL players who are taking a knee are even know maybe what they think the knee means. A lot of these players that are kneeling is like, well, we can do whatever we want to do. Donald Trump isn't going to tell us what to do. But the knee wasn't about Donald Trump. This kneeling started in the Barack Obama administration of the presidency. Donald Trump had made it about him and then directed it toward the NFL, the owners, and the players. So yeah. I think there needs to be an understanding amongst those who do kneel what you're kneeling about. Because if you're not kneeling for the right reason, just don't kneel at all. It's not even like, if you want to be with the movement, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. You're a grown man. You can do what you choose. But don't be misinformed in what you're doing.
Because it has nothing to do with Trump. And the way the events have played out, it looks like everybody is reacting to him using his language in the way that he did. But at the end of the day, like I said, something has to change. This division is not good for the owners, the players, the country. There needs to be some sort of solution. But punishing players for exercising their right to engage in pregame activities how they see fit is not the course of action. So I think, Jerry Jones, you're wrong on this one. And if I can get a billionaire to respond to me calling him wrong, then I think he has bigger issues than to worry about punishing his players. But he is, in fact, wrong on this one.
For sure. Hey, quick shout out to Diddy. Whole time, get you an NFL team. I will support you till the day I die.
Diddy wants to own the NFL. That's interesting. Hey. I don't think he has enough money. But
no, definitely not. But
get him a team. Get him a team.
Can we get him the Bears? Can we please get him the Chicago Bears?
No. Don't get rid of the Bears. The McCaskey family needs to keep the Bears.
No,
let's give him Cleveland, Jacksonville.
Nah, Diddy deserves a good team. Let's give him
You know what?
Let's give him the Dallas Cowboys. He deserved that.
No. Jerry's definitely not giving up Dallas to Diddy.
I don't
definitely
care.
not.
I don't care what Jerry wants.
Hey, Diddy has made some remarkable things happen. Any man that can get 50% of the profits from Ciroc, just 50% of the profits. You don't even gotta do nothing. Just gets it.
Hey.
But yeah.
It's great being rich.
Yeah, you know what else is great? Can't Be Stopped. So with that, this is the end of Can't Be Stopped, episode 10. I'm Don Collins.
And I'm Lewis Thompson.
#BeGreat. You know all that good stuff. See y'all soon.
All right, peace.